You always knew that you were on the clock when you walked into the door. So Dominic would give you maybe 10 or 15 minutes of attention. Like us, he was a hands-on kind of guy, and he was a one-man band. So, you know, there was no barber shop. When somebody walked in, say your piece and then leave, you know, because I have to get back to work. When somebody comes in nowadays, a lot of what I do is kind of what like a bartender would do. My name is Santo Spadro, and I am co-owner of Dominick European Car Repair, a small little garage my father started in 1961.
We work on, today, more of the old exotics, which when I grew up, they were everyday cars, and we still enjoy driving them, working on them, looking at them.
My name is Dominico Spadro, and my two brothers own Dominick's European Car Repair, Frank and Santo. I am their sister and the oldest of the three.
My dad came from the Depression era Sicily. You really had to focus on earning your bread, you know, so this whole avocation or just for fun or pastime didn't exist.
He trained as an apprentice at a local garage after leaving his third grade education, and 4 years later opened his own little shop behind my grandmother's home, had an apprentice staff of 6, and he met my mom. My mom was just leaving for the United States. They were engaged. She went back to marry him in 1953, came here, he started to work at International Motors, and you have to understand that the only cars that he did see at the time were Fiats.
So famously, one of the first jobs my father received at International Motors when he came here was an XK120 that never ran correctly. New car. The boss tells my father, Dominic, see what you can do with this car. So Dad spent, you know, a good day going through the cam timing, the valve adjustment, the points plugs, you know, tuning the carburetors. The shop foreman drove it and came back and he said, Dominic, you've worked on these cars before? And Dad said, I've never seen a car like this in my life. You know, I'm from Sicily. Where am I going to see an XK120?
He came to the United States as a third grade educated man who learned his apprenticeship with another master mechanic, opened up his own shop, came here, worked 4 years, and opened up down the street at 170 Ferris in 1961, and they moved here in 1975. And we've been here since.
So parts started from 61 until we moved into the shop in 75. So he brought engines from Jaguars, Alphas, transmissions from basically the same kind of cars, Lancias, and little by little we built shelves, and they went on shelves, and they grew into a monstrosity of parts. An organized mess. If you say, I want this head, we know where to find it down there. Without those cars downstairs, sometimes it'll take us weeks to find a part that which we would have downstairs.
I've never really had any formal training as far as, you know, shop class, technical institute. It's all Dominic. So when I was a kid, my job was to hold my dad's light. Dad never gave me a formal, Santo, this is how this is done. He would always be working and expecting me to absorb the steps, and as he was getting to take a 10mm bolt off, I would anticipate that and hand him the 10mm end. So my head's always in the game.
Summertime, Dad would wake me up and say, okay, we're going to work today, and I'd be here from morning to night, cleaning up, putting away bolts, making up little tools that he would think keep me amused.
My dad was certainly of the old world in the respect that he saw women in certain situations and not others, and certainly a greasy garage wasn't one of those situations.
We were not allowed in the garage as women, okay? My mom never came. I never came. My brothers, on the other hand, they were introduced to the garage very, very early. Frank came to the business first. Santo said, okay, I'm going to try the finance career.
You know, I always had the mind that I would be coming here full time eventually, and I kind of wormed my way in, and here I am today.
Up until 3 years ago, when the car market exploded, these small cars were their daily drivers in many cases. Not their hobby cars, not their cars in a collection. And that's how, you know, you start a base of people who actually treasured their $5,000 investment. Dad was very old school. My brothers have brought old school to today, melded the two, and made their skill level on par with Dad. It took many a year to develop the kind of relationship that we have with our clients.
Dad had a huge stroke in 1995. He didn't even know he had a garage anymore, let alone, you know, he didn't even know he was a mechanic at that point. We got him out of rehab and got him home, and then got him strong enough that he could come back to the shop.
So one of us would pick him up in the morning, you know, bring him, he would like fiddle in the machine room.
Within a few weeks, you know, he was building the transmission again. Whereas like a month or two ago, they said, well, he'll be lucky if he can dress himself. But the best therapy was, you know, the focus of the garage.
He was 87 years old at that time. He actually kind of welcomed the fact that I was here. He was seeing that he was getting older, and maybe thought that seeing his two sons and now joined by his daughter was not such a bad thing. Dad died in '89. The wake was overwhelming. There were so many people, and these were clients. Everyone was so taken aback, so sad, because up until 2 days before he died at 89, he was here in the garage.
We have a few of my dad's cars that we still own, including the 1961 Lancia Flaminia Touring Coupe. It's an all-aluminum body. We bought the car from Sergio Franchi, the singer, you know, famous for Volare.
We were doing an engine rebuild for him, and part of the payment for the engine rebuild was buying this car here.
It's a pushrod V6. The lineage is from the Aurelia, which is the world's first production V6. It was an engine that was designed to go 100,000 miles without a major service. You know, it's a low revving, you know, reasonable output engine. Yeah, it's not very stressed at all. Famously, Vincenzo Lancia, driving with his mother, broke a front axle, and the roads in the pre-war Italy were horrific, and he was distraught that his mother was stuck at the side of the road with a broken axle. So he went home and determined to rectify this. He famously said, Italy is not going to build roads for cars, I'm going to build cars for the road. All of these technologies that are kind of in every car that we drive today, the independent front suspension, aerodynamic design, monocoque body, V6 engine, pressure oiling system, trailing arm, independent rear suspension. I mean, it's the modern car, and it's all from one car company.
Lancia over-engineered pretty much everything they did, even down to like a little door switch where you could take it apart, fix it, and reassemble it again like brand new. We get in the car, it gives us a little memory of Dad. The drive of the car is very light driving performance. It's not a high performance car, but it's a great driving car.
Whenever I drive this car, even if I know that I'm not really kind of a well-refined or well-rounded gentleman, I feel like a well-refined and well-rounded gentleman just because the car kind of forces you into it. You just feel like, oh, I need to sit up right a little bit. The car just kind of wants you to be a better person.